GM und herzlich willkommen zu Kryptoticker, der Podcast. Wir sind mittlerweile schon bei Episode 10 angekommen und diese Woche gibt's mal wieder ein Interview von der NFT Paris. Ich hatte dort die Möglichkeit, mit Fred aka Skwirrl zu sprechen. Und Fred ist Narrative Director bei 77bit und die sind ein Web3 Gaming Projekt. Wir haben uns da getroffen in Paris und ehrlich gesagt war es auch schwer, 77bit dort zu übersehen. Sie hatten definitiv einen der spannendsten und auffälligsten Stände dort und haben für einige interessierte Blicke gesorgt. Ich spreche mit Fred natürlich über den Stand auf der NFT Paris und das Projekt selbst, über den Mint letztes Jahr, wo sie jetzt gerade stehen und was eigentlich ein Narrative Director den ganzen Tag so macht. Viel Spaß mit Episode 10 und Fred von 77bit. Fred,
Hi.
aka Skwirrl. Skwirrl is
difficult for everyone to say.
Yeah, and specifically difficult for a German, I think. Pleasure having you here. No worries at all. Pleasure having you here. You're with 77bit, and you're the narrative director. Before we actually jump into that, let me just ask you: how do you like NFT Paris? How's it been for you?
It's been awesome, man. We've had such a great time. This is our first time coming out and kind of putting ourselves forward at a conference.
So testing the waters.
Yeah, exactly. Having been building pretty much for the last year after our NFT sale, this is the first time kind of giving it to the public and getting feedback directly, and the response has been amazing. Really, really cool.
How many hours did you talk?
The whole weekend. I don't know, non-stop.
Non-stop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you at least get the chance to enjoy the after party?
I nearly lost my voice yesterday. Well, my wife is pregnant, so actually we went back yesterday pretty early on. Tonight I'm going to party. I'm going to put her in the hotel and I'm going to party.
Okay. Then let's hope you have a good one. All right, tell me a bit about 77bit. As said, you're the narrative director. What is 77bit? Just brief
so
intro.
We're like a meta RPG. The long-term goal is to be like an open world role-playing game where your NFT is your avatar. We had a sale back in April. We sold out in 49 seconds, 7,777
Congrats, that's
NFTs. And we've had a walkable city since about 6 months ago. So you can actually, if you're a holder now, you can go into the city, you can walk around, check out our artwork, do some little mini quests and side games like fishing or a little racing game. We've got a mini arcade that's just about to drop, with some reskinned kind of classic arcade games. And what we're showing here is our first dungeon. So in a month's time, we'll be releasing the dungeon for holders as an alpha. And then by the end of the year, hopefully we'll have like the first kind of key drop where it's getting towards open world, getting towards more dungeons. So you can go into the city, out into the wilds and fight monsters. And you can also go into dungeons and do little experience-based quests.
When you say dungeon, you mean an actual dungeon. It's not like, I'm not a big gamer, so I don't know if that is like...
So, well, yeah, I mean, we normally in the gaming world, and I've learned a lot about this because I don't come from a massive gaming background, or at least not from a MMORPG background. But you go into a dungeon and it's like you're walking around the world and then there's maybe a cave and you go into the cave and in there is another kind of little enclosed world.
Yeah.
So our dungeon, because the story of our game, the lore, is that monsters from the internet, it turns out that the internet world is real and monsters have broken out from the internet, got through the barrier between dimensions and kind of taken over humanity. And there's a small rebel faction, of course, as always, who are fighting against this. So when you go into a dungeon in our world, you're actually going into the internet and you're fighting monsters in the internet. When you're walking the open world, you're fighting the monsters who have made it into our human realm.
Okay, that's the lore about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and as a narrative director, has that been your task to set up the lore?
Completely. I mean, so when I joined the team, I was the first guy to come on board full-time alongside Fanfaron, who's our founder. He'd been working on the project for about 6 months before I joined. I joined December 2021. But he'd kind of got a rough idea of what he wanted the story to be, which was this rip between worlds. And I then took that, which was maybe a page of his brain just, thrown onto paper. And then I just expanded it, and I took away some elements that I thought were maybe obvious, coming more as a writer rather than someone who's, just kind of riffing on the whole project. And expanded on it, and it's been great. And we then took on a great game director in about a month before Mint, and Boromir has a lot of experience. He's worked with a huge game company in Taiwan and then in Japan as well, running like 200 people. heading up a massive games company. So he's brought a lot to the project as well. His native language is English, although he's been based in Asia for a long time. So me and him now build that world between us. I write the manga and a lot of the game, early game lore I created and the early quests, but he's now kind of taking more of the game side. I'm more of the world building and the manga lore.
You said you minted in April and you minted out in what, 49 seconds?
49 seconds.
49 seconds. April was still more bull market,
we were so
I would
lucky,
say, right?
Yes.
That was just briefly before the whole Luna fiasco.
Yeah, we were so lucky. So we minted out, as I say, in 49 seconds, and that was insane. I mean, we'd been working, you know, almost 18-hour days non-stop for 4 months by that point, for me personally, for 4 months. And, you know, it was just like, oh my God, you know, breathing a sigh of relief. We've done it. You know, that was a really, really, that and this, you know, because this is our first time presenting, were two really big milestones for me in this Web3 journey. But then we were lucky because then my boss cashed out at the local top, which was about 2K. So we've had 17 million that we've been building with for the last year. So during the bear market, we've been safe. We've been able to expand our team, take on a load of devs and artists and everyone else we've needed and just build. So that's why now, you know, almost a year later, we're here starting to kind of present to the world what we've been working on.
How was it with the community? Because, I mean, obviously with the timing, you basically had the perfect timing, or let's say you were lucky, something like that, right? But how is it with the community aspect? Because besides from the financials, you also need to keep the community active. And my feeling, or not feeling, but a lot of people actually left the space at a certain point in time during the bear market,
and lost a lot of money.
And lost a lot of money, right?
And why would you keep on coming back every day when there's no money to be made? It was hard, and I'm not going to lie. We had a few fiascos that caused some FUD for us. There was early FUD, of course, which was just
normal.
A game takes a long time to build, but some people wanted a quick flip, and it's the wrong project to do that. But there were some other fiascos I won't go into, but people who are listening to this may know about. So I'll just quickly, you know, say that things happened that we kind of approached. People were calling us a rug. We're here now. We brought it to the table, and we've been building. But you know, you can't, until you can show it, you can't prove it. So we're very happy to come back from that now and go, here we are. But it was hard, and keeping energy going in the community was very difficult. Keeping activities for the community. You know, who cares about whitelisting on other projects when there's no interesting projects minting? You know. So it was difficult, but we're here, and we've had some great community members. We've paid for a load of our whales and our top holders to come down here, our legends.
Cool. You brought those people here as well.
Yeah, we went for dinner with them last night, and let me just say so we're on Saturday now, right? So Thursday was the first time I met my team face to face.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And we had lunch together, and it was amazing. And these guys that I've been talking a load of nonsense with and just having fun with for the last year are great people in real life, you know, just as I believed they would be, of course. And then I met all these legends and these wonderful community members that have stuck with us since the beginning. And they were great as well. And we sat down about 20 or 30 of us for dinner last night together. And it was just lovely. It was so nice, you know. So, it's been great.
I can believe that. And this is really what brings the people together, right? I mean, I believe that online communities, Discord communities, they can thrive and they can work out, but eventually you need to meet people in real life.
100%, yeah. And that's what's beautiful about Web3 is it's about IRL events as well, you know. And I think it's so important. NYC NFT kind of taught, NFT NYC taught this to us last year, that you need to bring, and you know, that's why we put this stall here today, this whole experience. We didn't want to just go, oh, here's our game, check it out, what do you think, with a laptop in front of us, you know. That's not a presentation of an experience that's going to sell things to people. So we wanted to bring a full game experience. And if I can talk about that for a moment, the experience we brought is a ramen bar. In our game, we have a ramen bar that is the front for the rebellion. And if you go in there and order the right thing from the chef, if you know the right password, he will give you a coin. You put it in a jukebox. The jukebox moves to one side, and you can go down into a basement, and that's the rebellion headquarters. And you can start training. So we've got this ramen bar here. We've got some awesome actors. Big up to the actors because they've worked so hard this weekend. And you go to the chef. You order the right thing. We've got these menus printed up with some blurb about the game on the inside. And he gives you a coin. You then go to the next NPC, and they usher you through to the back room where we've got some arcade machines set up with both 2 with our dungeon on and 3 with reskinned classic arcade games that you can play in the arcade in our world as well.
Well, I saw your stand, and I can imagine that there were a lot of, let's say, not sleepless nights, but nights with only a bit of sleep, right?
Yeah, probably sleepless is very close to the truth, actually. Yeah, Monday I was panicking, and then I had a Zoom call with the actors on Tuesday, and I saw them all for the first time, having just been chatting on emails and stuff. And I was like, they're going to kill it. It's fine. It's great, you know. So
yeah, perfect. Yeah, really, the experience that you guys put here is really nice.
Moment. Jetzt gibt's erstmal ein bisschen Werbung. Und zwar für Kryptoticker. Kryptoticker ist nämlich viel mehr als dieser Podcast. Kryptoticker ist die Community rund um Web3, Kryptowährungen, NFTs und allem, was dazugehört. Bereits seit 2015 kümmert sich das Team von Kryptoticker darum, Neulingen und Profis eine Heimat im Kryptospace zu bieten. Auf cryptoticker.io findest du jeden Tag neue Artikel und Insights, prall gefüllt mit News, Tipps, Hintergrundinfos und spannenden Einblicken. Im Kryptoticker Discord kannst du dich mit Tausenden von Gleichgesinnten austauschen, Fragen stellen, Kontakte knüpfen und vieles mehr. Schau am besten jetzt gleich in die Shownotes rein, denn da findest du alle Links zu Kryptoticker und kannst direkt ein Teil der Community werden. Und jetzt weiterhin viel Spaß mit Kryptoticker, der Podcast.
Let's talk a bit about the gameplay itself. You said it's an open world game, right?
Long term, it will be. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got like kind of three zones. We've got the city. And so the idea with the city is that this is the social place. In the city are the humans that have been trapped by the cyborg. The cyborg are the bad guys who have got brains. There's also monsters, but the cyborgs are the ones who have actually taken over the world. And they've kind of captured everyone in VR, basically. And the rebels are kind of mooching around there, trying to not get clocked as being, non-conformists. And you can do a lot of things there. Mini games, there's fishing, like I said, there's a racing game. And that long term will have a free-to-play option where you can come in with an anon character. Yeah. Anyone can come in. You can bring your mates in. We're going to have voice chat in there, which is very nearly finished, actually. And you can go racing with them. You can play arcades and compete for the high scores, whatever it might be. But then if you go out into the wilds, that's the open world part. That's where you can kill monsters. You can loot NFT items, gain experience. You can then come back, of course, and sell your items for a crypto token, which will come later. Or upgrade items, of course. And the same thing with the dungeon, the darknet. So you can go into these dungeons, and again, you can kill monsters, and you can gain experience there, etc.
Okay. So your objective is also to onboard people that are not related to NFTs or Web3 and basically make them play the game, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we imagine that this is like a social network with gaming, what you can do in the real world with your friends is you're in the city and you go, let's go and hang out in a bar and chat nonsense, or let's go for a race on a go-kart track, or let's go bowling, or whatever it might be. Let's go to the arcade. We want to kind of try and recreate that in the metaverse. And then we've got this added element for the RPG players. And maybe some of those anon characters go, do you know what? I like this. Maybe they go off into the wilds, but they can't loot an NFT because they don't own an NFT. But then they buy a skin from one of the holders, or they buy a sword from one of the holders, and then they can start to level up and they can start to get, and so it brings people in slowly and it onboards them to crypto and NFTs, Web3.
Yeah, I think so as well. Give me an explanation, narrative director. For me, that sounds a bit like you do a lot of the lore, right? But eventually the lore is finished at some point, right? Or what do you do? I mean, what's your daily job?
I thought that. And so I've worn a lot of hats. So I've been working on marketing because I was one of the first guys in the team. I've been helping out with the marketing, writing articles for the team, writing social media posts. But also lore has to evolve somewhat as you hit certain either ideas or something maybe blocks an idea as well. You have to change your tact slightly because you go, guys, we wanted to do this in the game, but actually it's not working how we thought it would. Could we do this? And then you have to massage the lore a bit. And there's also, if you think of narrative, what else is narrative? Marketing is narrative. So my job is more overarching than just writing the lore for the game. It's really, I'm involved in every part of the process. From early on, I was a right-hand man to Fanfaren, our boss. And I've been kind of just where I'm needed, I'm jumping in. I'm saying, hey guys, this doesn't look right for what we were saying, you know, because visually law comes in again. You know, it's like, well, we said we're based in 2077 here and we've got a hot dog stand that looks like it's from 1985. Why? You know, did the artist think about this, or was that drawn because you weren't given correct narrative direction? You know, and then we can fix that problem. So there's a lot of elements to it.
How did you get into that position? Because it was really early, right? The project wasn't minted or anything. How did you get into that? And I mean, you said you were the first full-time employee.
So this was completely random. I was so I'm a musician as well, and I've always worked both being a professional musician, but also writing for music magazines and doing social media stuff for bands. So I was on Twitter. It had been Corona. There was a lot of downtime for musicians. And I've been interested in cryptocurrency and kind of dabbled in a few crypto businesses since about 2015, 2016. And I just thought, yeah, I want to kind of get back into that. You know, that's interesting. And I love that side of things as well. I've always been an early adopter of tech. So I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling music at the moment. Let's try a bit more of that. And I just went on Twitter one day, and Satstart, who's a big CT influencer, had posted, he's a friend and Fanfare, and he'd invested early on in the company. He posted that they needed a social media guy. So I jumped in, just dropped Fan a DM and said, hey, I can do this. And we just got on. And it went from kind of doing that to realizing he didn't have anyone full time and he could do with someone to write this. He could do with someone to help out here. And me just jumping in and filling in roles. You know, it's something I'm used to doing because I've always done many jobs. And it just worked. And we just got on really well. And again, having met him for the first time, he's the human I thought he was. He's a really great guy. And we've just had a great time for the last 2 days together.
Where are you guys located then? I mean, obviously remote, right? But
everywhere. Really everywhere. So, for example, here today we've got guys from 7 members of the team. We've got me, who's from the UK but based in Hamburg now. We've got Fanfare, who's from Morocco originally and based in Europe, I think in Belgium. We've got a guy flown in from Canada, a guy flown in from America, a guy flown in from Singapore, a guy from Holland, and a French guy.
So it's more or less impossible to schedule calls where everybody is
completely. Yeah. And I mean, so for example, Jorda, who's our artistic director, he's in America. He's one of the guys who's over here now, but he operates mainly because most of our dev team and artist team are in Europe. So he actually has pretty much switched to European time zone. Same with our game director, who's in Japan, and he's pretty much always awake. He doesn't sleep. So yeah. It's crazy.
I love that, and somehow I think it's crazy that, I don't know, it's complete. It feels like, I've heard that so many times here, that it's completely normal to work with people from all over the world. And I mean, I do it myself as well, right? I work with people in Florida while I work with people in Shanghai. Yeah. And also people in Europe, right? So basically everybody's juggling around. I love that, but it's also absolutely crazy. Right. Then let's finish that with a little bit of an either-or game. I guess you know how that works.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. What is it for you? Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Bitcoin.
Twitter or LinkedIn?
Twitter.
OpenSea or Blur?
OpenSea, but only because I haven't tried Blur. I probably need to dive in because everyone's obsessed with it now.
Okay.
And I don't really like OpenSea. It's just there.
Bored Ape Yacht Club or CryptoPunk?
Neither.
Okay. What then?
77 bits.
Okay.
But I've got to be straight up here because I was into crypto before I joined this game, but I wasn't into NFTs. So now I have started investing in some things, but it's more just for fun. It's cheap things that I'm like, maybe that'll go up.
Okay.
But obviously I've got a hand in, but I don't really like the art of most big. I like Renger's art. Renger's bringing it. I'm not a big fan of most of the art.
Okay. No, fair point.
I'm going to get burned for that.
No, fair point. And croissant or pain au chocolat?
Nowadays, croissant. When I was younger, pain au chocolat.
All right, got that one. All right, all the best with 77-bit.
Thank you so much.
Have fun at the last after party, and hopefully you can have a few beers today.
Yeah, we'll see you there, I hope.
All the best.
Thank you, man.
Cheers.
Vielen Dank fürs Zuhören. Wenn euch die Folge gefallen hat, dann lasst uns gerne ein Like da, klickt auf Abonnieren, macht eine Bewertung oder was euch sonst so einfällt. Damit helft ihr uns ziemlich. Und jetzt einen schönen restlichen Tag, Abend oder Morgen und bis zum nächsten Mal.